President Biden using his speech today to defend unpopular vaccine mandates.
I want to start by acknowledging how tired, worried, and frustrated I know you are. I know how you're feeling. Are we going back to March 2020? Not this last March 2021, but March 2020, when the pandemic first hit. That's what I keep getting asked. The answer is absolutely no. I know vaccination requirements are unpopular for many, and not even popular for those who are anxious to get them. My administration has put them in place not to control your life, but to save your life.
Policies like that have done a number on his deeply damaged presidency. Biden's disapproval continues to soar. 55% think he's doing a terrible job. 7 in 10 say this year was a bad year for the country. You know, Jesse, we were talking in the break that he has no power to express any optimism. And so it's like you have people that, they think this year's bad, but they also think next year's going to suck. Yep. Because he can't express a glimmer of hope.
And he told us that this year was going to be great.
Yes.
And being a president's kind of like being a parent. You have to manage expectations. We take the twins on a car ride to Maine from New York.
Yes.
Depending on when you leave, depending on how much traffic, it's either 6 to 8 hours. The night before we leave, I don't tell the twins, we're going to get there in 3 hours. They're going to be cranky and confused, and they're not going to trust me the next day. And that's how the people feel. They're cranky, confused, and they're distrustful of the president. The guy ran on crushing the virus, said Trump didn't crush it, and then declared this summer that he crushed it. And now you have 2 successive waves, and people don't think you're credible after that. You pull back your mandates that you said you were going to do. People don't think you're credible. Anthony Fauci, remember, what did you say his favorite words? Could be, might be, maybe. That chips away at your credibility. And now he says no one saw these waves coming. I saw the waves coming. I text people smarter than I am. I know you don't think so, but there are people that are smarter than I am. And they told me this summer, this August is going to be bad. They told me as I saw the charts go up this winter, not as bad as last winter, but it's going to be a rough winter. How does he not have people in the office to tell him that stuff?
He should be fired on the spot.
How do I know that a lot of people go get tested before Thanksgiving and Christmas, and he doesn't see that coming? How do I know that this thing is seasonal and reasonable, and he doesn't know it's seasonal and reasonable? So this guy's out of his mind right now, and you have to ramp up testing after what? We spent $2 trillion on what? We don't have tests after $2 trillion? Where'd the money go? I've always thought it was embezzled, but that's just me. And you can't go out there, and you said it, you can't whisper to the American people. You can't whisper, and you can't cough while you're whispering and expect people to pay attention. He's not clear or loud enough.
You know, Dana, I'm going to piggyback on his parent analogy. It seems like Biden's like the dad who's driving the station wagon and he's lost, and the kids are in the back seat. They're America going, where are we? Where are we? And he's saying, we're all good, we're all good, we're all good. And he's like already just crossed the border into some danger.
Stop and ask for directions.
And it's like, stop hitting your sister.
Yes.
In the back. So you could do a little reverse psychology on America, because what the question here in this block is, does he have any political capital left? Looking at the poll numbers, I would say it's dwindling, and then you have Build Back Better that falls apart. Why not start his speech with something that says, America, I want to thank you. You have done everything we asked.
Yeah.
And amazing numbers. You have gotten vaccinated. You stayed home, and I know that was hard for you. I know a lot of your businesses suffered. We are so grateful for the taxpayer support to make sure. Like, imagine all the things that you could do to make people feel like, okay, you're bringing me along. Instead, immediately, it's like, boom, boom. And remember, the vaccine mandate was a distraction during Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It was a Friday afternoon in the middle of August, and all of a sudden, he's going to give a speech. Okay, great. He's going to maybe tell us, like, what's going to happen here. Are we going to be able to have an extra time to get these people out? Instead, he comes on and said, we're going to have a vaccine mandate. And that was super confusing. If they're going to change something in the coverage, they have to have something or somebody new.
Yeah.
And they could have done that today, or he could have berated the FDA. He's basically today, one of the things he said was that Goldman Sachs says things are going to be okay. I'm like, is that what your base wants to hear?
Yeah, they've been real good at that.
Goldman Sachs?
Yeah. Dagan, to Dana's point here is that he might not be the right person for this moment. He seems almost entirely divorced from the mood of the country.
It's because he is the farthest humanoid away from being persuader in chief. The only people he is persuasive with are people who already agree with him, and they're the type of people who will agree with Bette Midler.
Yes.
You're not a persuader if you vilify the unvaccinated, which he continues to do. He did it again today. You're not a persuader talking about the winner of death. If you hate Republicans and are tribal, you're not a persuader. Where it divides, and the most stark thing, and we already mentioned, is the fact that he did not come out and say, this week, as based on reports, the Merck and Pfizer antiviral pills are going to be approved this week. And I hate to keep pivoting back to President Trump, but Trump trusted and valued and wanted to cheer the private sector and these incredible things, while the left, Elizabeth Warren, is blaming inflation on grocery stores. So you can't know Biden would stand up there and cheer the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
As Trump once said, paraphrase, people who work in government are stupid. That should have been him. Those people are slow and stupid. They're bureaucrats. I'm going to go over there and shake some marbles out of their skull and get them to approve these antivirals. We're on the way to recovery and stopping the pandemic.
How come they've been so slow in these therapeutics, especially this pill that we keep hearing about, Doc?
Well, the administrative bloat of the FDA is just longstanding and has always been there. President Trump, through Operation Warp Speed, was able to cut a lot of that Trump. I will say that Bloomberg reported today that the FDA announced that the EUA from Molnupiravir as well as Paxlovid could be approved as early as tomorrow. Great news, but it's not just about that. It's also about fluvoxamine, which is an existing medication.
There are a lot of medicines I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce.
Those are
slow
the
that one down,
antivirals.
doctor.
But fluvoxamine is an existing medication that is being repurposed. It is shown to prevent death and hospitalization up to 90%, and it's a cheap medication that you can get from your pharmacy. Why aren't we talking about that?
It's an antidepressant, so you get a 1-2 punch.
And also the antibodies. We are in a dire shortage of antibody therapy right now. That is where the focus should be. If he truly wants to give that hope to American people, one, he should be transparent about the number hospitalized of COVID patients. Yes, hospitals are full, but it is not with COVID patients.
Right.
We have a flu that's going around right now that the flu shot is not being very effective with. We also have a lot of chronic illness. And yes, there are an increase in COVID patients, but there is a way to keep them out of the hospital, get these treatments to them.
All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.